So if you're not familiar with what an incentive prize is, it sort of flips the Nobel Prize concept on its head. What it says is, I'm going to set out a target, something really hard that I haven't figured out how to do yet, and I'm going to tell you how much I'm willing to pay for success. And then I'm going to open up that problem to any solver out there and ask them to bring forward solutions. And either the first or the best solution would then qualify to win that prize purse. So that's the concept of an inducement prize, is it's open to all solvers and allows you to set a very hard target without having to pick in advance who the winner is likely to be.
What's incredible about prizes, and Kristen really hung on this, is that they bring a diversity of people to the table, and it really opens up a problem to just sort of a huge swath of solvers, and people are thinking about this now in a different way. Another example of an algorithm that someone was trying to make a little bit faster, one of my favorite prizes is one that NASA and Kaggle put together, and it was called Mapping Dark Matter. And for the record, I don't really know what dark matter is, but I do know that it's really, really tricky to figure out how to measure it. And so NASA's researchers and mathematicians were actually trying to figure out what's a better and faster way of doing this. And so they opened it up to the crowd. And what's incredible about this story is that a PhD student at Oxford who was studying glaciology was actually able to sort of find an algorithm that was a little bit faster than some of what the researchers at NASA were finding. Did they actually go with that one? No, it ended up being someone else. But regardless, there was a sense of community and a sense of competition that I think really moves the needle on some of these issues.
A couple of things I would add there. So first of all, why a glaciologist? So they have outside of discipline expertise that they can bring to a problem. Glaciologists happen to know how to map the edges of things, which is helpful when mapping dark matter. And so even in a scenario where what a federal agency is getting out of this is an as good solution, they're getting other things too. They're also getting access to a solver base that may not otherwise have been willing to work with government, who's now interested in working on their problem and thinking in the future about how to optimize the results. They're also getting a variety of approaches to solving a problem. NASA in another algorithm competition related to managing the solar panels on the space station, they got equally functional algorithms. Why they said it was impressive is that some of them used very novel approaches so that if the algorithms that NASA had on hand were no longer to work because of some scenario on the space station, they now had new approaches to go after managing those solar panels. So it's also doing a great landscape survey of all the possible ways to tackle solving a problem. Sometimes we get this tremendous 4x, 10x, 100x improvement, and other times what you get are new solvers, new ways of tackling a problem.
What are the ingredients for a great prize? And we sort of categorize them in different areas. So they are resources, evaluation, communications, structure, and then motivators. This is really thinking about how do you get the right people to come and sort of understand your problem and try to fix it for you. And we've talked about what some of those incentives are. The other one that I don't think can be discounted is really sort of around the structure, which is what are the eligibility requirements? What's the length? How do you incent behavior over a long time and keep momentum?
People will really go far if you have a judging panel that is filled with the world's experts that they've been dying to get their idea in front of. That can be very powerful. I also mentioned test facilities. Startup companies often don't have access to some of the world's best test facilities that might exist at a national lab, at a government agency, within a corporation. Imagine opening up your sunk costs and your facilities to these entrepreneurs and giving them a chance to demonstrate in reality. The most common failure points in terms of if you've forgotten to do one of the things Ness just mentioned, why a prize might not result in the types of results you want to see, that problem statement one, that's probably number one. Mm-hmm. You know, without a target, one of my colleagues at the X Prize Foundation used to say, you miss it every time. And so how do you actually set forth a goal that is clear, that is specific, that is audacious yet achievable, so that you don't get too many submissions, you get on-target submissions that actually meet or exceed your goal? Problem statement is key.